Welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm just gonna raise my seat a little, but
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad you could make it to the first ever episode of whatever this is, this podcast.
The No Name Podcast.
I got a little hair in my glass.
It's alright.
Um,
No drink, just like hair.
so this is the BS podcast.
The BS Podcast. I like
Yep.
that.
It's called. It stands for being Spencer, and that incorporates a lot of bullshit, and so that's what we're gonna be doing here.
Well, alright then.
So
Sounds good. That's what I like to do on the daily, anyways.
So first off, I'm gonna get us started here. I got a collection of bracelets.
Bracelets.
They're motivational bracelets, and you can choose one of the ones that you like. And those are just for the people who decide to come on first. They get their pick. Yeah. So you can have whatever one you'd like. We got some that says,
These all apply.
"No guts, no glory. No legend, no story. No one cares. Work harder." That's my personal favorite. I've actually worn this one.
Yeah. This one says never satisfied. I like this one.
Take it. It's all
I'm
yours.
gonna go with this one.
All right.
Sounds like it applies to me.
Sounds good. And we
I'm
got
gonna put
some.
it on now.
I'll match.
Thanks, brother.
Of course. I've used these a few times when I'm at work and I'm just trying to get over that hump. Get that overtime in.
I heard that.
Yeah, they're kind of a pain in the ass to tighten. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, apparently.
But I mean, sounds good. Boom.
Bam.
Can see it now. So, just I did wear my favorite sweatshirt.
The podcast sweatshirt.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Joe Rogan, who inspired me to do podcasts.
Joe Rogan is a.
I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan, but he did inspire me.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably a lot of podcast inspirations. Guy's definitely got his good thing going on.
Well, you know what he says? He says, Anthony from Obie and Anthony, when he started recording his show in his house, that's what really made Joe Rogan want to do podcasting.
Really?
And, yeah, so, I mean, he's not trying to be him, but it inspired him. I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan, but I happen to like similar things. Like whiskey, for example. I got some Jefferson's Reserve. It was recommended to me by a friend. It's very good stuff.
Yes, Jefferson Reserve is very good stuff. Not typically a whiskey drinker, but I definitely like me some Jeffersons.
Let me know when.
That's good, man.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Now that we got that out of the way, I'm just gonna toss this over here.
Slide around the floor.
Boom. So, we're here.
Toast me.
Cheers to the
Cheers
first
to the
ever.
first ever.
Wonderful. Hopefully we can get a nice line of these going. I got some buddies of mine from all walks of life who are interested. I got a firefighter, some guys who do a lot of investing. He's doing his own startup, like a group for investing.
Oh, nice, an investment group. That's awesome.
He starting off. He's doing a story, giving tips to people.
Sweet.
So I think that's
awesome.
It's like a membership based, which I think is really neat. Honestly, I think it's a go-getter move. And
Yeah, that's got to be the move. Honestly, if you're gonna be an investor, you have to be able to invest in yourself in some way.
I mean, he's
to get
doing
started.
Yeah, he's doing something he likes to do. Shout out to Jose. That's who it is. He's doing something he likes to do, and he's he has a way to make money doing it. So I mean, not even just from investing, but the people who subscribe to his thing. So I think that's a great thing.
That is awesome.
I'm looking for people like that on the podcast. So I know that you are a man of a few specialties.
Yes,
so.
for sure. Definitely. I've dabbled with the investing, not anything serious, but
More so than me though. So
yeah, for sure.
I can learn something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, within the past year, I feel like I've gotten almost lucky with things, but listening to people that know what they're talking about and doing some research and really believing in your choices
Of course.
and your own research. You know, you definitely gotta. You have to have some type of faith in your DD. You know,
Hmm.
due diligence.
You know, that's one of the big things I've learned that's important when it comes to adulting, because just my 21 short years on this earth, almost 22 in a few months, but my 21 short years, learning to be confident with being the adult has been a learning curve since I've come into the real world workforce. So
Yeah.
you know, I've gone through my share of jobs when it comes to being an adult and having confidence in my own decisions. And
Mhm. Yeah, man, that's definitely a big part of fucking growing up and living on. I mean, eventually living on your own and stuff is just like you have to have full confidence in every decision you make, even if you fail. Like, at the end of the day, it's your choice, and you can figure out what to do better next time. You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah, definitely, I know what you mean. I mean, that's what this is really. This is me having confidence in something that I want to do. I mean, I feel so comfortable right now just talking. I mean, obviously, this is my brother Kyle. I actually did a terrible job introducing you, but that's something I gotta learn, right?
yeah, man.
He's my stepbrother Kyle. I believe our parents married in 2010, 2009.
9, yeah.
Jeez, so I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
It's been 11 years since I've known you, and I think we kind of hit it off the minute we met each other.
For sure, man. Definitely crazy. It was like I knew you already from like a different life or something, you know?
Oh, I've definitely felt
Instant.
that. Yeah, no, I only get that feeling with a few people in my circle, and for you, definitely, it felt like that. Once I started understanding that type of thing, it's like, here, if you need a napkin, just to
Thanks, dog.
soften the clank. Yeah, no, thinking back, we have a lot of really funny stories about when we grew up, and that I don't really think of that often, but one that comes to mind is obviously the first time we met when we went to Chili's, and
Yeah.
my dad brought me and my siblings, and your mom brought you and your sister, and it was a great night.
Dude, that was a crazy time, honestly.
Yeah.
That was... I definitely was not used to doing anything like that. I definitely had never done anything like that before, and it was like just coming and meeting a whole family that I'd never met before. You know what I mean? It was just, I felt comfortable though, which is like a weird thing.
Well, we were just
pretty much
preteen goofballs. We had a very similar energy, and same with our sisters. So I believe I found out that they were dating a few days before this dinner.
Yeah.
And I believe my dad said, we're going to go have dinner with a friend of mine and her family. So we kind of figured out that it was his girlfriend at the time, and your mother, Dawn, who's a very nice lady. I got very lucky when my parents split up that I got two wonderful stepmothers that just stepped right in and took care of us, and I can't thank your mom and my other stepmom, Deb, enough.
I hear that.
Yeah, but
I hear that. I give your dad a lot of credit too. He's been a very, very good person in my life, and
yeah, he's taught me a lot about being a kind man. I can tell you that much.
I agree. He's a very good person.
But yeah, that story back to Chili's. I mean, our first inside joke between the whole family was you and me talking about that movie, The Benchwarmers.
Oh yeah, Sammy Sprinkler.
Sammy Sprinkler, man, that was the joke, the running joke for a long, long time.
Yeah, it was.
Years.
Years it would go back to that every time.
Yes, sir. But after that, I think the next thing I remember is you coming and having going over at your house too. We played video games till fucking the early hours of the morning. And
PlayStation 2 days.
Oh yeah, my favorite memory from that was NASCAR. That was our hobby, you know. We would
Oh, yeah.
we'd play NASCAR and we would just go backwards and destroy all the other cars.
Oh, yeah.
We'd
So there was no more cars left to race, and then we would finish the race after that.
Yep. So we
Yeah.
came up with some creative things. I think you and your family also introduced me to a lot of areas of life that I wouldn't have been interested in otherwise, especially hockey, because you played growing up, and that got me into like the Bruins and hockey and the Red Wings because you're a Red Wings fan. So naturally, I was like, I knew more about them than any other team because I knew from what you knew.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's just going to your high school hockey games and even your middle school hockey games. It was something else. It was a really nice experience, but I was tying that into when you came to my dad's apartment for the first time. We had that pond in the back, and it froze over.
Yep.
And somehow we strummed together some sticks, and we played some hockey on that pond.
Yep.
And
That
some
was
shoes.
crazy. That was crazy.
Yep. That was
I almost forgot about that one.
yeah, those are
Honestly.
some deep ass memories.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure.
You know, and that's why I like this format of talking, because you don't get people sitting like this and having conversations with each other, and you tend to forget a lot of the things that make people human,
Yeah.
and
I
that,
hear that.
form the relationships. You know, like when me personally thinking about this is really the first time I thought about it in a while. Like, who the fuck we are to each other, you know? Like, we have a long ass story behind. That's 11 years. 11 years went by, and
A lot
we
of
just-
shit's happened in 11 years, man. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and people tend to forget that pretty easily. You know, it's something that comes up only with these long form conversations.
No, I agree. We've definitely been through a lot of different experiences through those years, and we've been through the same experiences as well, like together, you know.
Of course.
And like some really good, others not so good, you know what I mean?
Of
But
course.
I feel like we've always been here for each other at the end of the day. I feel like we're very close. We're close knit type family.
Yeah,
you know?
more so in a weird way. You know, I don't want to. Not like talking bad about my sisters, because they're my birth sisters, obviously. But with you, you were the big brother that I always wanted, because I'm the youngest child out of the three of me and my siblings. The only boy. After my parents split up when I was 5, my mom remarried a woman, so I was in my house all alone with women. Excuse me, I burped. With women, female pets. The closest thing I had to a male was the neighbor next door, Dale, who let me mow his lawn for $40 every couple weeks, and he was a nice guy. But I mean, I have my mom and my stepmom Deb. They did a good job of, you know, keeping me engaged with the traditionally male things, you know.
I heard that.
They
The stigma male things.
you know, they built me a tree fort. They put a zip line up on that tree fort.
For sure, that's awesome.
Yeah,
right
they
there.
built our pool deck. They put the pool up. They redid the bathroom themselves. Like, they're very handy people. So I've had no lacking of that growing up.
I heard that.
Which was nice. But the one thing that your mother brought was a different relationship than I've had with my mom and Deb, where it was kind of like, no, I mean, my family holds me accountable, but your mom was more of a no bullshit type thing,
Yeah.
but at the same time, she was also able to be just as much as a goofball as me, which I love.
Yeah.
Because
See, I feel like my mom always sees the best in people, and she will do anything to bring that out of them.
yeah,
Anything, no matter, even if it's tough love, if it's the goofy type love, or
Mhm.
just like the genuine, like heartfelt love. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah, you said what I was really meant to say a lot better than I did, but Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's very much a special woman,
Mhm.
and I'm glad our parents met because
I agree.
we've
I agree. I couldn't picture my mom with anybody else, honestly.
yeah, they're perfect for
They're a
each other.
perfect match. They're
It's-
awesome together.
Which I love telling this story, but they I don't know how much they'll I don't know if they'll find this funny, but my dad and my dad matched with your mom on the one dating website, and she rejected him, and then they matched on another site, and she finally accepted him to go out.
Oh
and
shit.
I always found that, I thought that was so funny, but it's like, that taught me one thing, that persistence can work.
That's the truth.
Me and my ex-girlfriend, who dated for the last 2 years almost, Angela, you know her,
Mhm.
name drop, boom. She and I met online as well, and
Yeah.
it took me a few tries over the course of a month to get her attention, and I finally did. So,
Mhm.
that was one thing I can say I learned from my dad, was persistence when it comes to the ladies.
I heard that, man. It's definitely a good quality. You gotta show somebody that you want to be there at the end of the day.
I mean, it's not even just the ladies either, right? It's anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you gotta prove to anybody. I mean, if you really want something, you gotta
Do it.
You gotta do it, and you gotta keep doing it, no matter if you fail, or if you think you're gonna fail. You just gotta keep going, no matter what.
Yeah, I just checking to make sure we're still going. Just because this is the very first attempt at recording, so this is literally a test by fire that we're doing right now. I did a quick sound check with the mic, and then we
Cinnamon buns.
cinnamon buns sound check.
Yeah. If you guys know about that.
Cinnamon buns. It's a
Cinnamon
shout out
buns.
to iCarly.
Oh yeah, classic show right there.
That show's a staple of my childhood.
Yeah. Dude,
Oh.
Nickelodeon, man.
Nickelodeon had some good ones.
Dude.
In fact, my favorite one is probably got to be Victorious.
Yeah.
That show is pretty nutty,
It's
and
pretty legendary right there.
it was, and I went back and watched that show. There's not many shows I can go back and rewatch. But that show, I went back and rewatched it over the course of last year with my ex, and let me tell you, that show is, there's enough for everybody, There's goofy
It's all
stuff.
levels.
There's goofy stuff for kids, but at the same time, there's adult jokes that make you think, but they're not obvious,
I feel like I've seen some clips on Instagram or Facebook about that show where it's like, you missed this, I bet.
Well, there were some allegations. What's the guy's name? I don't even know the guy's name, but there were some allegations against that guy that he was
Which guy?
the writer for.
Oh, the writer? Oh shit.
What was the name?
I don't know.
Well, the guy who wrote iCarly and
Victorious.
I guess there were allegations against him
Oh shit.
being inappropriate.
Oh jeez.
But so I mean, some people have had some issues with the jokes that
Yeah.
that he had written for the show with some of the
Was it
female
just
actors.
based off? Was it based off of
Would you like a refill?
the right? Oh sure, thank you. Based off of the writing, or was it based off of what somebody something happened to somebody possibly?
I don't know. There was some weird shit. Apparently, he had a foot fetish.
That's not illegal.
Well, it's weird, I guess, with teenage girls.
Yeah, I
but,
mean, yeah.
I don't know how much. I don't know how concrete those allegations are, though. So I can't really. I don't know much about the situation. I don't even know the guy's name
Yeah,
off the top of my head,
exactly,
so I
yeah.
can't really speak too
Yeah,
much towards it. But
Yeah.
no, I just thought that was amusing. It's just weird world out there.
Yeah,
But,
I agree. Especially the freaking entertainment world, man. It's
oh yeah.
so messed up. A lot of the amount of people that you see from the entertainment business that are pedophiles and stuff like that. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it was oh my god, who was the guy, the big movie guy who would put actresses in movies for sexual favors? Damn.
Bringing news. You bring news out to me.
Really? You didn't hear about this?
Was it? Did he get arrested for it?
I think so. Yeah, he started the Me Too movement. He was the reason the Me Too movement started.
Was it
It's because of him.
It wasn't Epstein, was it?
Was it?
I think he killed himself. It was that. That's that guy.
Was it Epstein?
I don't know. He was
I thought he was a different person.
yeah,
maybe. I
I
know
don't-
Epstein had his island, but
He had the what?
He had his
Oh, the
island,
island,
with
yeah.
the
I thought you said island.
yeah, the teenage island.
No, island. Like
Island.
lint in
Yeah,
his
he had
eye.
the island, so he was
Yeah.
blind. Let me check this
So
out
he
real
was
quick. I'm gonna
blind.
look him up. Who caused the start of the Me Too movement? Tirana began using the phrase Me Too in 2006 to raise awareness of women who had been abused. 11 years later, it found global recognition after a viral tweet by actress Alyssa Milano was one of the women who accused Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. That's it is. Steen. That's why I
The
confused it.
Steens.
The Steens getting us again.
Could have been Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. He's a
Yeah.
monster, man. You know.
Kind-hearted soul. He's not a monster.
Well, Weinstein was.
Yeah,
or Steen,
he's
whatever
more
his
of a
name was.
monster than Frankenstein. Is what I meant by that.
But that's funny. Well, not what happened with these actresses, but
Ooh.
you know what I mean. That's not funny. It's not the funny part.
No, just to be clear.
Yeah. No.
I
But-
thought that picture of that like lizard was a McChicken
Oh,
this whole time, and then I saw the lizard.
it's a lizard on a McChicken. No,
Is it a chicken nugget?
it's like a
No,
rock.
it's a rock.
Yeah, it's a rock.
It's a rock.
The pioneers used to ride these babies for miles.
It's not a stone. It's a rock.
It's not a boulder.
Oh, a boulder, yeah.
Something like that.
It's not a boulder. It's a rock.
But damn, another Nickelodeon classic.
Classic
man. I
right
think
there.
Are they still airing SpongeBob?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I know they changed because the original SpongeBob voice died, I believe.
Yeah.
And then they, I don't know
Rest
if they
in
ended it or
peace.
started. Yeah.
R.I.P. SpongeBob.
I don't really
OG
know his name
SpongeBob.
either.
I don't know either. I just call him OG SpongeBob.
Wait, did he die?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Or did the original illustrator? Or the
No, I think it
original
was the
artist?
voice. I'm pretty
Or
sure.
no. I'm confusing it because the artist, actually, I did see on a Joe Rogan episode. He does art exhibits all the time, so I don't know if he was the voice as well as the artist, but I know he was the artist.
I'm not sure.
But I did hear one of them died. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I thought it was the voice, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
I think you're right.
Maybe.
But it's a shame.
Either way, R.I.P.
Yeah, we've lost some very famous actors and famous celebrities.
Yeah, for sure.
Over the last
couple years, yeah.
Yeah.
Like fucking
Kobe's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Kobe. Mac Miller was one
Yeah.
for sure.
I think he faked his death.
You think so? I wouldn't think that would happen.
I think he had depression and
He was too
he
like
was addicted
in the
to
limelight.
drugs. Yeah, he was in the limelight,
He wanted
especially
to
with
be out of
Ariana
it.
Grande, and I think
Yeah.
he wanted to sell his last album and get out of there. And you know, I think he might have done that.
I think he was lost in the drugs for a long time, and it was inevitable.
Regardless,
That's what happens.
Yep. Regardless, it's a long,
Especially the
it's a sad
shit he was
story.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Sad, man. Sad what drugs do to people.
Yeah, that I can relate to that. His last album a lot. That has helped me get through a lot of tough times, honestly.
I
So
feel that. A lot of his music did for me too. Like I started listening to him when I was like, I don't know, maybe like freshman year or
Yeah,
like
you-
8th grade
you
year.
introduced him to me. That's how
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found out about Mac.
Yeah, I'd fucking listen to his shit like religiously. Every time a fucking album would come out, I'd listen to it literally right when it came out.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
I think he changed music in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
I feel like there's a small niche of white rappers, and he was one of the very greats. Because there's like
Yeah.
I don't know if I could name 5. I can name
Yeah.
3 off the top of my head.
Yeah, that you would listen to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
well, 2 that I would listen to. I wouldn't listen to Machine Gun Kelly. I have some Machine Gun
Yeah.
Kelly songs.
I
but
feel like he isn't even really a rapper anymore. He's like,
no, he does more pop and rock.
yeah, he's like more of like a rock guy.
Well, he's like there's a few artists who do what the type of thing.
I think it was better for him to do that too.
X did multiple genres too,
Yeah,
didn't he?
I agree.
So,
I mean, maybe MGK will go back to rapping eventually, but
He
I feel
could.
like he's where he's at right now. He's in a good place with music.
Yeah, no, he definitely has a solid fan base too. And I know he did some acting, I believe.
Yeah, he was just in something I watched recently, actually.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
I don't know much about him. I know he was from.
It was in King of
Ohio.
Staten Island. It was a
Really?
yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, no, I saw that
He
movie.
was the tattoo
Oh,
artist.
you're right.
Yeah,
did he do
I have to
Action
think about
Bronson?
Yeah, Bronson was in there too. Yeah,
Action Bronson.
Dude, I was
no,
so-
didn't he tattoo Action Bronson in that?
No, there was
Am I
some
mistaken?
like big buff dude that had like a lot of racist tattoos on him. And what's his name? Pete Davidson was like cracking a bunch of jokes at his tattoos, and the dude like got real pissed and like chased him out.
That's
Pretty
funny. Yeah,
But Action Bronson was in the movie.
he cut his head open in the movie. I think. He got stabbed.
I mean,
I don't know
he never disclosed what happened to him. He was not snitching. He was not snitching.
That was a interesting scene. When I saw him, I'm like, wait, that's Action Bronson. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
And then
Right
was-
when he got in the frame, I was like, no fucking
It was
way.
the goofiest scene. It was exactly what you would expect from Action Bronson.
I couldn't ask more from him, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's
Dude, that dude's a crazy rapper.
he's nice.
He's one of the best. Like,
that's
lyrical.
another white rapper I didn't even
Yeah.
think of. off the
yeah,
top
I'm
of
just
my head,
saying
but-
in general, out
He's
of like
in
most
general.
like rappers nowadays, he's like one of the best lyrical rappers. He's
Yeah.
very like slept on, but he doesn't really make much music anymore. So.
I ride the Harley to the mountains with the horses in my Porsches. 4-course dinners. It's scorching.
Oh man.
Me and my buddy Pete will always like come up with rhymes like that, making fun of the way he raps. Like
He always talks about food. It's awesome.
doing LSD in the mountains with the horses. That's what
Easy
what he was.
Rider.
Yeah.
Easy Rider. Yeah.
We always make fun of that song.
Yeah,
But-
that's a great song.
He's a great artist, honestly. He's got a
Mhm.
lot of stuff that I listen to, and I love his shows. More specifically, when he watches Ancient Aliens.
That shit's high as hell, man.
Although I can't find any more episodes. I found like
I
one
feel like-
season.
Yeah, I feel like they don't do it anymore. I think it was just one season.
That was beauty. It
How
was a
many
gem.
seasons of Ancient Aliens? are
There's a
there?
good amount. I think there's at least 10.
Yeah. That sucks.
They
that you
still
couldn't
do it,
it
I
all.
think. I don't
Ancient
know.
Aliens, yeah.
I don't know. Unless you, there's the
I don't
two.
know. I don't watch like real TV anymore. It's all like fucking streaming.
I don't watch any. I don't even watch Netflix, dude. I spend
Yeah.
most of my time playing video
Yeah,
games.
the only time I watch Netflix is with my girl, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's barely ever.
It's a key. It's a key factor in having a girlfriend and watching Netflix. You know.
Yeah, she isn't really a big TV person.
It's
so.
funny. The minute I broke up with my girlfriend, I haven't really used the Netflix account. I used it once since then, when I had a friend over, you
Yeah.
know. So. Yeah, no, I spend most of my time playing Rocket League, honestly.
Nice.
You know,
How's that going? Still nice at it?
good. Yeah, I'm getting real nice at it. I hit the top 1% of players the other day.
Sweet. Good for you, man.
I reached the Grand Champ rank. For those who know, it's the second highest rank in Rocket League now, and it has taken thousands of hours to get there. And
That's crazy.
You know, as someone who loves to compete, because it's just in my nature, there's something about that game that it's just pure skill. You know, because games like COD, there's like, oh, well, what map are you on? What gun do you have?
Yeah, I feel like games like that's more about, I don't know, all games really take skill. It's just a different type of skill.
Yeah,
And,
no,
like,
I'm not.
a certain level of skill.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
not
Call of
like
Duty
shitting
is
on
just-
COD.
yeah,
because
I
the
feel
people who
like-
play COD professionally are nuts.
Yeah, and yeah.
But it's like a different. It's less other variables, and it's more like sports, more of a skill factor.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's all muscle memory and,
Mhm.
and your hand-eye coordination that you're playing around. Like, that's why it attracts me, and that's why the skill gap is so huge. The learning curve in that game, 75% of its player base is in the low to middle ranks. So, you know, there's other games like that, like Siege, like Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, that game's so fucking hard.
That's I haven't even.
For me at least.
Oh, dude, I played that game on the PS4, and you know that forces everyone to use controllers. I was thinking about getting it for my PC, and I'm
Yeah,
scared
people are too
because
good.
people are nasty at keyboard and
Yeah.
mouse. I don't play keyboard and mouse video games.
Yeah.
You know, I think the only game I play on keyboard and mouse is Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is like a medieval GTA type game.
Nice.
So, I mean,
That's lit.
no, that game is one of my personal favorites, just because I'm a history buff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I play, you know, in between my stretches of Rocket League, I'll mix in some Kingdom Come or some 2K or FIFA. I recently got the newest FIFA, and
Sweet.
I really, you know, I like soccer. I don't watch soccer, but playing FIFA is fun. you
Yeah,
know?
that's like that game is probably one of the best sports games. Honestly, a lot of people will say it too.
Well,
Like,
it's because
it's the most realistic of them all.
that, and it's the most outstretched sport out of any other sport game, you know? Like baseball, sure, it applies to some areas of Asia and South America, but soccer is
Yeah, it's the whole
It's
world.
every continent. It's on
Yeah,
every continent.
100%.
So, I mean, the majority. I think that's why I think FIFA is the most played sports game. Of
Yeah,
all
for
time.
sure, for sure.
Which makes sense because millions, maybe billions of people play that game.
Mm-hmm. Definitely millions, hundreds of
But
millions.
It's fucking fun. So,
Yeah. Dude, fucking Battlefield's coming out with a new game.
yeah, I heard
Battlefield
about that.
2042.
I don't know if I'm gonna get it.
I'm definitely.
I
gonna
wanted to
it.
get the last Battlefield, but I
Battlefield 1.
Yeah, I didn't have. Well, no, was there one in between that?
There was 5, then 1.
5 and 1.
Yeah.
I was really big on 4.
Yeah, 4 was like definitely the best one by far.
Yeah,
And I think 2042 is going to be pretty close to
You
that.
think?
Yeah.
I played a lot of 1 afterwards, but it was not the same as. I mean, because that was obviously back in World War One, so it wasn't the same. Me and my buddy Peter, I don't know if I dropped his name already, but we played and we met a longtime friend named Marty and on that game, and we formed something called the Quad Squad because there was originally 4 of us. So me and Peter teamed up, and Marty and one of his buddies teamed up, and
Mhm.
we would get on quads in the game, and the person on the back of the quad would put C4 down on the
Oh,
quad,
dude, yeah.
and the person driving would find a tank, and the person on the back would get off, and then we would drive the ATV directly at the tank and blow it up. And we got so good at it that we were playing games, and the tanks would see us, and they couldn't shoot us because we were quads. We were so quick and agile.
Yeah, no
So
way.
they saw
It's
us
like
and they
throwing
would
a rock at a squirrel.
yeah, they would they'd run away from us, and it was
Yeah.
just so funny.
That's
it was,
awesome.
It was the most fun, you know. 'Cause
That's awesome, dude.
it was
yeah.
just like
Dude, the suicide quads have definitely done that before.
that was like and the fact that you could do that in that game too.
For
you know,
sure.
it's just
Yeah, no, that's like Battlefield 1. You can fucking do like kamikaze attacks with the planes and shit.
yeah, I love it.
Pretty wild.
The freedom you get in that game, you know, to do.
Yeah, that's
it's
yeah.
such a big
That's
such
why
a big
I brought it
map,
up. Is
you
because
know?
like that's definitely I feel like that's got to be like the best shooter overall, in my opinion. But
You think? I don't know. I feel like sometimes it was too long range for my liking. I mean, you already know though. My favorite shooting game was COD Ghost because
yeah,
I was
that game
absolutely.
is legendary.
I was dirty at that game.
Yeah, I
Um,
liked Ghost too though.
That was that game that was the peak of my gaming career probably. Maybe Rocket League now is matched to that, but there was a time I was 3rd in the world in Search and Rescue, which was the alternative search and destroy game mode they
Yeah.
had.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, they had the dog tags when you died, and if your teammates picked you up, you could get dropped. Just watch out for the mic. You don't want to.
True.
Sorry. And,
No, you're good.
do you need to turn the AC up?
No, we're good. I just shouldn't have wore pants.
Ah, dude. If
It's just like down here that's getting warm.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, I'm fine.
all right, that's
Thanks,
fine.
man.
If you need shorts, let me know. I can hook you up or something.
Appreciate you.
But yeah, no, COD Ghost was my shit. I was 15 at the time, and it was over the course of a summer. I played probably 12 hours a day on that game.
Dude, yeah, you were definitely always playing.
It was
Always.
If I did that now, I'd probably die or get diabetes because I was literally living off of water, root beer, and Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
And I would wake up at 5 in the morning. I would play COD Ghost all summer. This happened all summer. I'd play all day, no matter what day it was. I'd stop for pee breaks. Sometimes I would almost piss myself because I would wait so long. It was bad. And I would stop for pee breaks to run to the pantry and get a Pop-Tart or root beer or get water. Yeah. And those are the only times I left my room.
Dude, I remember.
And
I definitely remember this.
Yep,
Like,
I would play into the early hours of the morning. I'd play until like 3 or 4. I didn't wake up at 5. I would wake up at like 6, 7, or 8. But I would go to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I would wake up a few hours later and do the whole thing over.
Yep.
And it's like,
dude, Call of Duty is definitely probably the most addicting like
it
series.
can be.
Yeah, like super addicting. Because I've been through the same thing with Call of Duty. Like, I think it was MW2. It was like that for me, or COD 4 as well. Both of those two.
Those
games
were some serious classics. I was disappointed with the remake of COD 4. They made it very.
You can't remake a classic.
Well, they made it pay to play, and you could purchase all the skins and kits, and
not the biggest COD fan because of all that, just in general, you know.
Yeah, you could purchase all the new. You had
Nowadays,
to purchase the new guns, like the new DLC guns.
You just pay to win at that point.
I mean, they did that. Yeah, they did that in COD Ghost, but they had guns that eventually they were free for everybody. There were like
they just screwed everybody over. They're like, you gotta buy these guns now. We're gonna make them free later.
I didn't use any of the DLC guns in Ghost. I used the Honey Badger. That gun was literally my shit.
That gun was literally unstoppable.
I was getting fucking. I was playing at a level where I was having like a 15 KD.
MP7 was my shit.
The MP7 was nice. I wasn't an SMG guy though.
Yeah,
the Honey Badger was the perfect combo. It was it's like a submachine gun, but it also had the range.
It's a hybrid, It was like a hybrid almost.
To be an assault rifle, so and it had the built-in silencer, which,
yeah.
Oh, I loved it. So I mean, that was my gun, man. That was
Oh, I feel that, dude. I feel like that one and the MP7, was just unstoppable.
Dude,
Overkill with the MP7 Honey Badger
combo.
That is overkill.
That and they had this nasty LMG, and if you mix that with thermal, it was just ridiculously unstoppable because you could shoot people through walls and shit with it, and it was just. Oh no,
dude. Once you figure out certain things about that game, well, most games in general, you just fucking.
There were a few things that were broken in COD Ghost for sure, but it was, I don't know. COD is just one of those gaming company or series, I guess.
Yeah, series.
It's one of those gaming series that I don't know if it's ever gonna be matched. I mean, you got Battlefield, but
it's
that's
just
in
different.
its own right.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah, COD's more of a. I mean, it's evolved from a 3-lane shooter, but it was...
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's it's like a simplified shooter game. So basically anybody can play and pick it up.
Yeah, it's like an arena
I mean?
almost. It's like an arena shooter, like a 3-lane arena. It's the way I used to describe it was it was almost like League of Legends.
Yeah.
But shooter style.
I feel like it must be something to do with their matchmaking though. You know what I mean? You play against people that are usually on your level or a little bit a little bit below you. You know what I mean?
That's something that they started doing recently with the newer CODs. They did the level and rank or the rank based matchmaking.
Yeah.
So if you were 3rd prestige, you'd play with other 3rd prestiges. I mean, sometimes you'll get a few level 1 or 2, but they mostly have the beginner lobbies for a while, in the newer COD especially. Whereas back in fucking Ghost, you would get matched with max prestiges, and you'd be a level 20.
Yep.
And there was no separation, so you never know when you would you'd get murked by some 15-year-old playing 15 hours a day.
Yeah. In this case, it was you.
It was. It's that was one of my favorite times in my life. It's always a subtle flex because, like, who the fuck can say that they were third in the world at one point in a game? And my dad didn't believe me until I showed him, and he was like, "Holy shit,
Dude.
what?" Because he knew how much I played that game.
I
So he
feel
was,
that.
he
That
was
was like me with Frontline's Fuel of War. Back
yeah,
in the day,
you played
dude.
that game all the
Dude,
time.
For real, I was like top 100 in like all game modes in that game.
That game
It was
was
ridiculous.
That game was.
And
like
then people started hacking.
Yeah,
Like the J
Ghost.
tags started coming around and stuff, and like
Ghost did that too.
yeah, and I was just like, I can't even play this game anymore. I'm so pissed. 'Cause
Yeah.
my ranking literally dropped like within a week, like so far down. I was like, what?
Well,
How's
that's
that even possible? I
that's
play this
the-
game
yeah.
all
well,
day.
that was the thing with Ghost though, because I had to keep it updated. Like I had to play, and like if I took a few hours off, I would drop down a couple spots from third place, and I'd be like, "Fuck! Now I gotta grind all night. Fucking have
Those
a 30K
motherfuckers.
I gotta have a 30 KD." And I remember there was a few times where I would match up with another top 10 player in the lobby, and we'd like duke it out because we'd each have like a 15 KD, and it would be nuts just like
Mm-hmm.
seeing the different play styles of these guys that were great at the game. But Frontline, that's what it was called, right?
Frontlines, yeah, Fuel of War.
That game was like a semi-futuristic battlefield. That was a
Yeah,
dope-looking
dude,
game.
like that game, like I feel like that at the time there was no game like
No.
that game, so I was just like fully invested into it.
Oh, that
like,
game was definitely quality at the time.
you could there was like you could go on helicopters, fucking jets, you could go on,
Parachutes.
yeah, you could parachute out of shit, fucking
But
Humvees, all that shit. You know what I mean?
before Battlefield even did that, really. I mean, what was the original
I don't know.
Battlefield?
I don't know when that came out, honestly. I'm not
Maybe-
even sure. But Frontlines, that was
Frontlines
like
was
when the original 360 came out.
Yeah.
Is when I got that game.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
like,
remember that was. I used to watch you play that game all the time.
yeah, for sure. I was addicted to that game.
I had the PlayStation. You had the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I always played like sports games on mine.
Yeah.
But that was interesting. That was the one thing I did on the Xbox that I never did on the PlayStation. When you had the Xbox and I eventually got my own Xbox, that was the first time I really started playing online games, which was huge. Which that's another thing that you can have credit for getting me into, because who the fuck knows what I'd be doing now? Because now I want to be a fucking pro Rocket League player in an
Yeah.
online competitive game, and it's like I was playing like fucking MLB The Show and like backyard
That's what
baseball
I was
and
gonna say,
shit.
Backyard baseball
And
and basketball. Those
so-
games are nasty.
Like this is literally the first time I've ever thought of this, but you've definitely changed the course of my life when it comes to my hobby of gaming. Just because I remember you had the Xbox and you had to plug in that little fucking
Dude, yeah.
antenna cord to get
Yeah,
the internet.
That was crazy, bro. That's
And then-
literally something we'll tell our kids. Is like,
dude.
yeah, back in the day when we had to play online, we had to plug this thing into a USB, had a little antenna on it,
Yep.
and wait for the light to turn green.
When my dad would ground me from the Xbox, he would just unplug the antenna,
Yep.
so I couldn't
More
get
internet.
online. So I mean, the old days.
Dude, wow.
I
What I'd do to go back to those non-responsibility days.
right? Imagine being able to play 15 hours of video games a day, every day for 3 months. I would
Jeez.
die. I would die. I
That's
might have
crazy.
diabetes or die
Dude,
or both.
People do that at our age, though.
That's nuts, dude. I was playing when I got COVID back in November. I did something very, very similar. Not 12 hours a day, but pretty fucking damn close. I was like playing Rocket League 60 to 70 hours a week.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, I wanted to be a pro gamer for a while, and I was dating my girlfriend back then. I was at a job I didn't like. I'm still dealing with a lot of mental illness, but I've got a much better hand on it in just the 6 or 7 months that it's been since then. Actually, it's been almost 8 or 9 months since November, I think. I don't know. I'm not even really counting, but you know, so I got burnt out because I wasn't working. I was playing only Rocket League. I wasn't having fun, and it was literally becoming a job. I was getting really good at it, but it was fucking boring.
Yeah.
And that made me play worse. And I took 2 months off of it, and I ended up being worse than I was when I was playing because I stopped playing for 2 months because I lost interest.
You lost the freaking muscle memory.
Yeah, so now it's like, you know, I'm taking a medication to help myself focus, and I'm really focusing on my mental health, and hopefully this time I can push through the challenges and not get burnt out. I can pace myself for the goals that I set. So that's why I'm doing this podcast. You know, I want to do something where I can help people and entertain people, and people can learn things from me on my mindset that's helped me get through my issues, because I haven't had the hardest life, but I've been suffering severely with mental illness since 7th grade, and I'm 21 now. And, you know, something to keep in mind is, comparatively, I have it so easy to stereotypical kids in Africa who are starving. I have it so easy. Like, there's countries, all South America, Africa, all over the world, people in this country who are starving. I have it better than millions, billions of people. I understand that. But to every person, the worst thing that's ever happened to them is the worst thing that's ever happened to them. So if someone's been pampered their whole life, and you know, their parent doesn't buy them a car, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. You know, like,
just someone saying no to them is just the worst thing that they've ever had to go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
it's a lot deeper than that for lots of people, man.
Like, I've had a decent life. My parents have always been able to give me the things that I've wanted. Not necessarily that I wanted, because they said no a lot. But they've always given me the things I've needed. Me and my siblings have always been able to play sports. If we outgrew our shoes or our cleats or our gear, we always were able to get a new one. Maybe we had to use a smaller glove for baseball or smaller cleats for an extra year. But we always would get that, you know, it was...
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that sense, but on the other hand, suffering from the childhood trauma that I had when I was 5, when my parents split up, because there was it wasn't a friendly split up. You know, I believe your parents had a fairly friendly split up.
It was tough at first, but
I know that they were on speaking terms, which when I found out that your mom and your dad were speaking to each other,
that's completely.
For me, divorce between parents, they didn't speak to each other afterwards. So the fact that your parents were speaking to each other after their divorce, to me, that was nuts. And that just goes to show the trauma that kids can have, because you know, it's not necessarily the parents' fault, but the kids get sucked into their feud between their parents, and that can fuck the kids up because their normal routine's gone. And in my case, I didn't have a male role model living with me to go off of. And you know, middle school, I started doing some bad choices because I was just a goofball. I wanted to make people laugh, and you know, I wasn't good at school because I couldn't focus. And over the years, that mental illness built up, and I didn't even know what it was. And I struggled. I was such a smart kid, but I couldn't do my class. Like, I couldn't do homework. I refused to do homework.
Sit down to do it.
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered, and I knew the information. And that made it worse, and it snowballed. And then, come to high school, I finally understood what it was. And, you know, it was a battle before I knew what it was. But once I knew what it was like, okay, here I am. This is what's happening to me. This is what's been happening to me. And here's what I think I need to do to fix it. And that was freshman, sophomore year. You know, I really had social anxiety. I felt like an outcast. I wanted to be accepted. I was bullied. I was afraid of what people would think. I wasn't being my creative self. I would keep I'd be rude class clown to get people to pay attention to me, and I'd get those laughs, but I never had friends outside of school. So after school, I was the class clown. I knew all the information. I didn't want to do homework because I felt shitty. I didn't have friends. I had my neighbors in my neighborhood, and then when we grew up, we stopped talking to each other. So I would go home from school and play video games, and that was my escape. And now you could say I'm addicted to it, but I make the choice that it's my hobby. That's what I want to invest my time into, and I feel like if I commit myself, I might be able to make some sort of money from doing something that I love, and that's what matters now. But you know, my life has not been easy, despite how easy it seems to people on the outside, just because my parents managed to provide, and they were able to build me a fort with a zip line, which was the coolest thing that kids have seen in my neighborhood. You know, and kids started coming to my house just to use my zip line, and they didn't really want, it felt like they didn't want to be friends with me, and that was like a weird dynamic where I for a period of time, I had this thing that was so cool, but people used me for it, and I despised the thing that was so cool, and I didn't appreciate it at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, when a kid's going through that constantly, it fucks with them. And that's the damage I'm trying to undo. And, you know, I don't want to make it seem like I have the hardest life ever, but
it's just like
I can't function as easily as a normal person, and it sucks. You know, I always say to myself, if I didn't have this fuckery going on, who knows how successful I'd be by now, you know? And I know I'm going on a big rant and you're listening, but
you're good.
It's just where I started from this was everybody's got their own issues, and that's the worst thing for everybody. And if I can give some sort of positivity and just the perseverance to consistently do these things that I need to do, I've already seen that in a small sample size, it can motivate people, it can inspire people, you can teach people new mindsets. And I've gotten just messages just of me posting Snapchat stories of, you know, you lost 20 pounds in 2 months. That's inspiring. I wasn't even trying to do that. I was just trying to do a diet. I didn't really want to lose weight. I wanted to get my beer gut gone because I was out of shape. And now I don't care what my weight is. I'm in shape. And if I gain that weight back in muscle or fat in another part of my body, that's okay. But people saw that I was doing that, and I was consistently doing this diet and losing that weight, and I'm being fairly healthy. And, you know, I'm sharing it, and I'm not being afraid to be myself. And people will see that, and it inspires them. And I didn't understand that, because there's so many people that watch what you do, and they don't say that it inspires them or motivates them or gives them a good idea. So the people, the 4 or 5 people that did message me, I'm like, how many other people? Because 100 people see my Snapchat story, which isn't a lot, but 100 people see it, 5 people say something, maybe 20 people get a benefit out of that. Because there are people who watch my whole 2-minute long stories. They watch the whole thing. And it's like, they might be laughing at me, they might be learning something from me, maybe they're not even paying attention. But if they're doing the first 2, they're laughing. I'm making them happy, even if it's at my expense. And you know, that's what really made me stop caring. Because if they're laughing at me, I'm giving them good energy. If they're learning from me, I'm giving them good energy.
That's true.
So, the point of this rant is, I was put on this earth to do that, to help inspire people, and I'm a born competitor, I'm a born creator, and I'm a born teacher. Those are the 3 things I'm good at doing. And right now I'm in the process of finding out how to capitalize that and do what I want to do for the rest of my life. And who knows? Maybe this is just a hobby. I was creating music for a while. I didn't want to be famous making music. Me and my buddy were having fun making music. So, being more confident with what I'm creating now, who knows what could happen.
You know,
I agree.
so I mean, I've gone and explained a lot of the stuff that I'm creating. Are you going through and are you trying to start anything? Are you creating anything? Are you like, what do you have going on in your life that you are looking to build up? Because that's what I want to make this about. I want to make building up a prime topic of this
Yeah.
podcast.
I hear that. I think that's a great topic for us, like in general, for like anybody you have on. You know, I've always had a passion. I used to be like a heavy smoker because of like things that I I would have like all different types of medical and mental blocks or like things like that, you know. But I would smoke weed to help it and
Yeah.
suppress what was going on
Mm-hmm.
or help with other things.
Yeah, sometimes it suppresses, sometimes it helps.
Exactly. It took me a while to figure out that suppressing part,
Yeah.
but once I did, I feel like I pushed it away, and I don't smoke at all now. But
Yeah, I'm actually really proud of you for doing that because I know that you can be around it fairly often,
yeah.
and the fact that you have the willpower to not smoke,
Mm-hmm.
and I've even offered to smoke with you, and you say no, and you know that's impressive because I've quit for 6 months myself. But continue. Sorry, I don't mean to keep going on these
No,
rants.
you're good, dude.
But I respect what you're doing. You know, you're
Yeah.
doing something for the benefit of you, and
For sure.
it's a healthy choice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you for saying that.
But
But yeah, I've like, ever since I've figured out like about weed and stuff, I've always wanted to help other people out with finding like giving people knowledge about it and like knowing that it can help them with certain things that they're going through, and it's a good alternative for maybe taking medications
Yeah.
or even like other things like lotions and stuff, you know what I mean? It's just
well,
like
yeah,
a healthier
sorry.
thing, you know?
Yeah, there's a whole market now. I mean, the medicinal purposes of it are profound. For a while I thought that was what it took for me. I was so anti-meds, but what I didn't realize was I was medicating myself with weed. I would use psychedelics, which ties into what you said. When the minute I discovered psychedelics, I wanted to show people that side of the world,
Mm-hmm.
the beauty of that, how much it helped me up here.
Yeah.
And I've
Scares a lot of people.
yeah, and I've been lucky enough to give around a dozen people their first ever psychedelic experience, and the 12 people that I've done it with, I've all made cry from the beauty of the experience
Mm-hmm.
because I did it and educated myself beforehand on what LSD was and the side effects, like good and bad. So I was prepared. I knew how to set the environment for these people and put them in a welcoming spot. I knew how to open myself up and make myself vulnerable, because when you see people doing these things for the first time, especially weed, they don't know what they're getting
Yeah.
into.
Never know what to expect.
And that's how these stigmas about weed, and especially right now LSD, a lot of people are against it, and some people say, oh well, mushrooms are better because they're more natural. I disagree. I don't think that something's more natural or less natural just
Yeah.
because it's made in the lab,
Yeah.
because LSD originally came from ergot, which was
Yeah.
a mold growing on. That's what they blamed the Salem witch trials for. And if they knew what that was, who knows what they could have discovered.
Exactly.
But it's just like these things are so stigmatized, and they can be used as medicines.
Yeah.
Psilocybin's being used,
I agree.
MDMA, ketamine.
Yeah.
They're all being used for
I agree.
depression.
Especially, I think mushrooms are really good for depression. I mean, acid too. Well, LSD.
You gotta be
But-
more careful with
yeah,
LSD, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
can be
agree. But as
volatile.
long as you have a trusted source and you test your stuff, like you have
Of course.
testing kits and stuff.
That's very important.
Yeah. I wouldn't like go out here and tell people to go and do it, you know what I mean? It's not for everybody
Nope.
at the end of the day.
I would say, I would recommend everyone consider it.
I would just say to people,
Ed-
research and talk to people that have done it and are very experienced with it, and get their input, and really, really think about doing it before you do it.
Yeah.
You have to put a lot of things in consideration. A lot.
Yeah, I mean,
You even have to. No, you're good. I'm sorry. You even have to look into your family's background of mental illness and stuff, and because that has a lot to do with
Oh yeah.
it. There's lots of factors that can make it go wrong for you.
Yeah, it's, I agree, because there are some factors that you can't control. And the same thing is, it's not just the psychedelic drugs or the hard drugs. Things such as alcohol and marijuana can do the same exact thing.
Yep.
People can spiral from weed. People say you can't be addicted to weed, but I disagree, because when I
You
quit,
can be dependent.
yeah, well, I think it's very much the same thing to addiction. It made it very tough for me to function when I quit weed after smoking for 3 years straight.
I just feel like you can be addicted to the physical part of smoking,
Yeah.
but I feel like the substance itself, the high and all of that, is not addicting. I've been addicted to some serious shit before,
Yeah.
and it's really, really, really hard to stop. Really hard.
Oh, I bet.
That's why I feel like it's just I quit smoking weed like I did.
Yeah,
know
you
what I
quit
mean?
it like that.
I quit it like nothing. And I'm not saying it was a good thing that I got addicted to the things I got addicted to and stuff like that, but it showed me a lot about myself and how strong-minded and strong-willed I actually am.
What?
If I really want to do something, I'm gonna do it. And it's I don't know. When I was doing drugs last year, I was in a really dark place.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's why I started doing them in general. I was doing shit for 8 months, and I don't know. I didn't really see myself going anywhere. I just thought that was really it for me, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I just had some type of I started doing psychedelics again, and I had done a huge dose of mushrooms and then
I
a
remember
huge
that
dose
as well.
of acid in the same night or in the same day, and I just had these insane thoughts about I almost saw myself in the future.
What you were going to.
Yeah, what I was spiraling into.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it, because I literally vividly saw myself as an older person.
Yeah.
It
What
was,
the fuck are you doing?
dude, it was insane to me. I was basically a homeless person, you know what I
Damn,
mean? And
that's
just
intense.
addicted to anything I could get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean,
And that's what it took.
I haven't had an experience exactly like that, but
Yeah.
I've had similar experiences with psychedelics. And not knowing what you're really capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's really changed my life, David Goggins. He is, quote unquote, the hardest man alive. And I believe it. He believed it before he even knew it. And, that's something that mindset goes and shows you. His mindset, he was in a very similar situation to me. For people who don't know Goggins' story, he wanted to be in the military. And he was a black kid from rural Pennsylvania, I believe.
It's pretty much all rural.
Miles away, and just a few miles from a KKK headquarters.
Yeah.
He had kids in the KKK in his class, and he was one of a small handful of black kids in his school. So he dealt with early racism. He dealt with identity issues, trying to fit in, much like I did. I was a goofball. I was a character to get attention. He did the same thing. Goofy haircuts. I didn't do haircuts, but I was very goofy. I wore goofy clothes and an attitude, and it was a persona. And he developed this persona to defend from the real world. And he almost flunked out of high school, like me. The only difference is I have natural intelligence, and he'll tell you straight out. He will tell you straight out he was a dumb fuck. In high school, he was reading at a 4th grade reading level. He had to teach himself to read. To pass his first ASVAB test, which is the test before you go in the military.
Yeah.
To pass that, he got the book. I think he said 8 months in advance, and wrote down word for word every page
Oh shit.
multiple times until he had notebooks filled with the same thing, and he knew it.
Yeah.
And that was the mindset, like, yeah, he was a fucking idiot. And I'm not insulting him because he says that. He's like, I was a fucking idiot. I was a slacker, a nobody, a loser. And you gotta be able to be serious with yourself. Like, when you are being lazy, or when you are fat, or when you are stupid, or when you're just being a fucking idiot, you gotta be honest with yourself.
Yep.
Because you're not gonna change otherwise. Yeah, you might have gotten bullied for being fat. Not you, but you in general, you might have gotten bullied for being fat as a kid. And you don't want to change for what?
If you're sad about it, yeah.
And people, the whole body confidence, like, yeah, alright, but, and I'm not fat shaming, because I have friends who are overweight. Do I wish they would be in a healthier lifestyle? Yeah, but I have friends who aren't overweight that I wish they would do other things to be healthier, Yep. And so me wanting a friend to be healthier isn't fat shaming. And I don't always say something, like, I don't have friends who are morbidly obese,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't really say anything. But if I had a friend, I would be openly concerned about his obesity, or her obesity.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
because you gotta confront it. If you don't confront it, you're not gonna fix it. And that's what I did with my anxiety a lot, and my depression, and I put it off. And back to what Goggins was talking about, I did this on psychedelics. He did not do this on psychedelics. He had this thing called the accountability mirror. And I did this whenever I would trip. I loved looking in the mirror because I could see, I looked myself in the eyes and I said, look at you. Depending on how I was feeling, you look fucking pathetic. What the fuck are you doing right
Thought
now?
that too.
You're better than this. Hold yourself up to higher fucking standards, you fucking clown. What are you're getting fat? You're 200 pounds? This is the most you ever weighed in your life. You have a fucking beer gut and you're 21.
Yeah.
What are you fucking doing?
I feel that. I did that a couple weeks ago. Not a couple weeks ago. Probably almost like a month and a half ago. And I was like, because I was getting a beer gut too. I had one. I definitely had one, and I was like, I need to start doing. Like, I gained fucking 50 pounds since last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was like,
I gained
alright.
25 and I felt fat. I can't imagine what 50 felt like.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, I need to, like, I mean, I was happy because I was like unhealthily skinny last year because of like all the shit I was going through.
Yeah.
And I was doing. But yeah, but I still, like, I got the gut, and I was like, yeah, I really gotta, like, start going to the gym again, and I, like, literally have been going every week, and, like, I already lost the gut and stuff, and I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
that's what I'm saying. I haven't lost the weight either, which is good, you know what I mean? Like, that's, like, I feel like I'm, like, more comfortable with, like...
The muscle, that's the thing. I wasn't worried about weight, because I know muscle weighs more than fat. So if you replace that fat with muscle, you're going to weigh similar, if not a little more.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wasn't concerned about weight, I was concerned about shape. And I was doing a fasting diet, and I'm totally comfortable. I only eat dinner. I eat something small at 10 in the morning, and that's it. I eat, like, a little like lunchroom sized sandwich
Mm.
in the morning, and then I eat a big dinner at night, and that's perfectly okay. Sometimes I'll snack in the middle, but
Yeah.
I'm like, if I feel hungry, I think to myself, I'm a little more patient. I'm like, am I actually hungry, or am I bored? Because,
Yeah.
or do I have the munchies? Am I high? And if you wait and you let that hunger pass, it'll pass a lot of time 5 minutes, maybe
Yeah.
less, and you're like, oh, I'm not hungry. I can last another few hours
Yep.
easily. And that fatigue of being hungry goes away. The pain of being hungry goes away, and not only are you not eating unhealthy foods when you desire them immediately, you get that willpower. It gives you willpower because you're doing something that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You burn fat. That's how I got rid of this gut. Because
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest with you, my diet's shit.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm working on it. I just went to the store. I've been going to the store a little more and grabbing fruits and healthy grains and all that. But while I lost this weight, I didn't even know I was losing weight because I was doing my diet just to get used to doing the diet.
Mhm.
But there were some weeks where three or four nights a week I would go to McDonald's for dinner.
Yeah,
So I wasn't healthy,
I hear that.
but I was losing the weight.
Mhm.
And now I'm shifting over to being healthier.
Mhm.
And that's what you want. If
Mhm.
you're overweight, you're overworking your body. And I was ashamed at my weight. I've seen how bad it can get. I've seen my dad. I've seen my grandfather. My
Mhm.
grandfather has had multiple heart attack scares and almost died. And I don't want that for myself.
No.
My dad smoked for years, and he undoubtedly is probably going to have issues because he doesn't work out.
Yep.
He's losing
true.
weight and he's doing a good job,
Yeah.
but he doesn't work out. Which he eats healthy now, which
You
is
gotta do that for your heart, man. That's really what it is.
Yep.
Even if it's just going for walk for an hour a day.
It's so
You gotta
simple.
keep your heart rate, like, you gotta get your heart rate up for a little bit every day. You know what I mean?
Of course.
You gotta let it work, because if it's not working, like not like consistently working hard, like, it's not gonna be able to
It's
help itself when something like happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like any muscle, right? You work out your muscles, and Muhammad Ali had this saying. People asked him how many push-ups he could do. He says, "I don't know," and they're like, "Why?" Because I don't start counting until it hurts. So he would go and, who knows, maybe he would do 50, 100 push-ups, and then it would start hurting,
Mm-hmm.
and then he would count. Because that's when the real gains set in.
Yeah.
When you really don't want to do something anymore, that's when it sets in. When you're doing that last 2 bench presses and you're like, oh my god, this sucks. I don't know if I can get this up there myself. I
Mhm.
might need my spotter to lift this.
Yep.
You fucking do it.
Yeah, you
if it
push through
drops
it.
on your fucking chest, you're going to get more benefit than if you give up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you pushed yourself past the point of uncomfortability.
I agree.
I don't know if that's a word. Uncomfortability? No. You passed the
Of
point.
comfort.
You've passed the point of comfort. You're being uncomfort, and not only are you increasing your willpower, but you're increasing your muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with cardio. You do it with your heart and your mind. Willpower is like a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
The more you flex it and exercise it and push yourself just a little bit further than you're comfortable, the more you'll improve at whatever it is you're going to do. And that's my goal now.
Mhm.
Everything I do, I look to just, I might not be having a good day, but I can always improve on the very moment that I'm at. Like this morning, I've been grinding. I want to be a pro Rocket League player. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I would have been embarrassed to say that. I'm about to post this on the internet. I don't know how many people are going to see this, and I'm saying
Mhm.
I want to be a pro Rocket League player.
Yeah.
And I was afraid because I didn't know if I could do it. But if I stick to it, I know I can.
Yeah, for sure.
And what was I the point was,
Pushing through things.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just, you push through that uncomfortability.
Mhm.
I keep saying that. It's not even a word. You push through that uncomfortable
Comfort
feeling.
there, yeah.
And a whole world opens up past that.
Mm-hmm.
literally the other side of struggle is success. You know, I know where I was going now. I got off track, but I woke up this morning late for work, because I was grinding, getting in extra work on Rocket League last night with a buddy of mine, and we did really good last night. And I stayed up until 2:30, and I had my alarm set for 4:00, 4:30 in the morning, and I had my emergency alarms because I got to be out of my house at 6:25 the latest if I'm gonna get on time.
Yeah.
So I usually give myself half an hour to get ready. But I woke up at 7:30 this morning. I got to be at work by 7 at the latest. And I woke up at 7:30 and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Dude, my phone was off the charger. I turned off the alarm and put my phone down right next to me. I didn't even put it back on the charger. In my sleep. And I panicked. And I got ready really fast, but I was panicking because I'm like, fuck, I was really sick last week and I missed 3 days and I gotta make those hours up anyway, and you know, I got 2 hours to make up from this week because I left work early 2 days and I'm fucked. And I went into work. Immediately, I got in there an hour late. Immediately went in, started working. My boss didn't say shit to me.
Mm-hmm.
He acknowledged me when I was in. I got to work. I started working. Before I knew it, boom, 10 o'clock break happened. I'm like, damn, I'm feeling good. I posted an update on my story. Hey guys, happy Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. I hope you're all pushing yourself because this is what I did today.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad start to my day. It's my ex-girlfriend's birthday. I'm thinking about this breakup I had just a few months ago. I was late to work. I had reason to panic. I had reason to say, oh, this is shitty. Maybe I don't go to work today. I considered calling out.
Yeah.
But I pushed myself. You know, my sister gave me some tough love this morning. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. She's like, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, you're right. If I get fired from this job, I have a guaranteed backup job. I don't care. I'm going to go in. I'm going to be better than what I'm doing right now. And I had a fucking amazing day.
Mm-hmm.
10 o'clock comes around in the morning. I'm like, I can't believe it's already fucking 10 o'clock. It's break time. I'm chilling. I just ate my breakfast and I posted on social media. I wanted to inspire people because I felt inspired. And then I went back to work after my 15-minute break. 12 o'clock comes around. I didn't go and take my I take a nap every day for my half an hour break at lunch.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. Because that, you know, it keeps me moving. And I didn't even need to take my break.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I feel good. Boom, another update. And then I went right back to work. Got 4 jobs done today at work. Nuts. And we were backed up because one of the machines wasn't working at work. And I had to do this job, and that job took me 2 days to do.
Yeah.
Because this machine was making it so I had to redo pieces over and over again.
Yeah.
Because it's a long story short, but this machine basically cleaned metal pieces. And the soap wasn't coming into the machine.
Gotcha.
So these steel pieces were getting rusty.
Mm-hmm.
So I would leave these pieces in the machine for 20 minutes, and I'd have to dig them out. It's a tumbler, for people who don't know. So it's rocks in a cylindrical tube, and you put these metal pieces in the rocks, and it vibrates and rounds out the pieces, takes all the sharp edges off.
Gotcha.
And it has soap and water in that mix to wear down the metal.
Mm-hmm.
And without the soap, the steel will get rusty and muddy, and like, because it's like almost like clay rocks.
Yeah.
And I put these pieces in, come back 15 minutes later when they should be done, and there was no soap, so now they're all covered in fucking rust.
Mm-hmm.
So now I gotta leave them in there for another half an hour because I have to get the soap to work, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
and then leave them in there another half an hour. So it was taking double the time it should have, maybe triple. And the last 2 days, that's what it was. And today I just came in, finished that, banged out a bunch of other jobs very fast, and the day was over before I knew it. And now here I am doing my first podcast. I can successfully say I had a bad start to the day, but I am having a better day than I
Yeah.
could have imagined I'd ever have.
Yeah,
I'm doing.
You turned it around. You made it a
Yeah.
lot better for yourself.
I'm having a fucking amazing day, and now I'm turning around. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'm ready. I'm gonna face fucking tomorrow. I gotta work 2 extra hours of work tomorrow to make up for this week. And, you know, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm braced
Yes,
for
you
it.
can.
And, you know,
You
that's
just gotta keep your mindset the way it is, man.
that's the mindset.
That's a good mindset.
You just gotta focus on improving what you're doing, no matter what. It could be, people don't realize. You live every day without realizing what you're doing. And if you realize, well, I can do this better. I can do this better. I can show up to work more earlier. I can wake up a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I've been waking up at 3:30 before I got sick, because I've been sick for the last week. I've had like an infection in my lungs. So right when I say that, on cue. But so I haven't been getting up as early, but I've been getting up 3:30, 4 o'clock every day for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I've had so much energy. And I'm only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. I can have early mornings and late nights and still have the energy to do this because it's mindset. It's mindset. There's days where I don't want to get out of work, or I don't want to get up to go to work, and I don't want to get up early. But I'll hear that alarm go off at 4:30, and I will literally be laying there, my eyes will open, and I'll fucking leap. I will literally jump out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the minute you do that, I'm not getting back in bed.
No way.
I just fucking jumped out. Like, who the fuck jumps out of bed? My body's like, well, I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then you have that time in the morning to get ready and do the things you want to do. I have an hour to practice Rocket League. I have an hour to eat breakfast and pet my dog, pet my cat, de-stress, get myself prepared mentally, physically, shower, because sometimes I don't have time to shower in the morning and I go to work smelling like asshole. And, you know, if you do that, you have more energy for the day.
Yep.
You know, you might be tired at first and have to push through it, but that's that willpower.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I've said the same thing for the last 10 minutes on this fucking rant. And, you know, this is like the rant podcast, because I know I've been doing it a lot, but it's literally just, you push past that hump. Once you get up to the top of that hill, guys, you go downhill.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking roll right down. You know? So
Yep.
it's like, that's life. You're gonna have easy downhill rides.
Mm-hmm.
But then, out of nowhere, you're gonna take a fucking wrong turn, and boom, you have this fucking hill. It doesn't even look like you can beat it. But you think, alright, if I divide this little by little, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna round this rant up so you can put in your 2 cents. But as a quick example, people might not understand it, but Rocket League's rank system goes by MMR, which is multiplayer matchmaking rank. And when you win a match, you get 10 MMR. When you lose a match, you lose 10, 12 MMR.
Yep.
So in order to rank up, my goal was Grand Champ, which was 1,450 MMR. I was 200 MMR below that. So if you do the math real quick, if I won 20 matches in a row, I would accomplish my goal.
Yeah.
And you think, well, 20 fucking matches in a row, that's fucking nuts. You can't do that because it just gets harder and harder the more your rank goes up. You can't win 20 matches in a row. And then I'm like, wait. 200 MMR. If I wait 2 weeks, that's 100 MMR a week. 100 divided by 5? I don't even have to do it on the weekends. 100 divided by 5. If I only play on the weekends, I gotta win 2 matches every day.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks, I'm gonna be Grand Champ. Well, guess what I fucking did?
2 every day.
Every day. And some days I would lose 3 matches and I would be down. Some days I would win 6 matches. Some days I would win 2 and I would call it. Some days I'd win 5 and then lose 3 and I would call it. But I consistently played a few matches every day, and that was my little goal.
Mm-hmm.
In in a week and a half. I got it faster than the math projected.
Yeah.
I hit my goal, and I've been trying to get this goal for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a big milestone for me. It sounds like a video game rank, but when you have almost 3,000, 4,000 hours in a video game,
Yeah.
and that's what you do every day, and you love it, and that's your hobby.
Mhm.
Some people have trains, some people have makeup, some people have weed, whatever it may be. If you improve that much, that's a fucking milestone.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And when I hit that milestone, I was playing with my buddy, and he's like, "Hey," because I wasn't sure if I had to play one more match.
Mhm.
I was like 1 or 2 MMR off, and I had that one extra MMR that match, and it put me over the edge to get that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Hey, you fucking got it." And the minute I did that, I was like, "Oh my god, no way, I'm here. This is, I've wanted this."
Mm-hmm.
But I was only so excited because I remembered all the fucking times where it
tried.
sucked. And I lost 5 matches in a row. And I played like ass. And I wasn't doing good. And I had to train and practice because it's not a game anymore. When you get to a certain point, you gotta practice.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to practice what you suck at because it makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember, you keep doing what you're uncomfortable at, and you push yourself a little more. "Oh, this fucking sucks. I did my goal." Well, yeah, it fucking sucks, and I suck at doing this trick, but I'm gonna try and do it 3 more times.
Yep.
And those little 3 times, it doesn't seem like anything, but you push yourself more and more and more. And it's the theme. You just push yourself more, and it adds up.
Yep.
And without that struggle, I wouldn't have had this splash of euphoria over me. My mom heard me yelling from the other room. I'm like, "Yes! This is awesome! This is fucking amazing! Yes! I
Yeah.
can't believe it!" And you're like, it's a video game. But then you think about the struggle that I put in to get there. And it's like,
Exactly.
you don't have that feeling without the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Because that struggle is preparing you. You gotta learn from that struggle. And that's another big mindset thing. You gotta learn from the resistance in your life.
100%. You can't just let the struggle hit you and then get back up and not learn anything from it and just let it happen again. You gotta really think about what made you struggle and think about what you can do to counteract it and get
Yeah.
better from it.
And
You can't just let it. You can't just be like, I'll just try it again the same exact way and expect a different outcome. It's just gonna, it's.
yeah, and I did that. And Einstein's famous quote is to repeat the same thing, the same action over and over again and expect different
It's
results is
insanity.
insanity. And
Mhm.
I literally drove myself insane. I was insane. And I could say it started from psychedelics, because psychedelics puts you into that hole. Like, something now you didn't know before.
Yeah.
And it drives you insane because you become obsessed with finding more and more and more and more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like I've taken that and I've learned from my mentors. I say mentors, but I learn a lot from the internet
Mm-hmm.
because that's the tool we have in this era. It's easier than ever to get information.
Yes.
So no one has an excuse. And the things I've learned from my mentors, like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant or David Goggins, Joe fucking Rogan, fucking the Fear Factor host of all people,
Yep.
was obsession. If you're obsessed with him, it's not even just him. Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were obsessed with basketball and winning. If you put that in everyday life, I'm obsessed with winning, sure. I'm a very competitive person. I love to
Mhm.
win. And sometimes I'm a fucking asshole to my friends because I want to win. But I use that and I say, wait, I want to fucking win. I'm an asshole. Yeah. All right, let's go, fucking asshole. You can be better than you can be better than the asshole you were 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Show that fucking dickhead up. And that's my goal. In everything. and everything. And, you know, slowly I'm getting to work earlier. Slowly I'm staying later at work and getting more hours. Slowly I'm getting better at my hobbies and the things I want to do. I'm not just obsessed with learning more. I'm not just obsessed with excelling at one thing. I'm becoming obsessed with growing as a person. And
Yep.
I don't want to be... I'm 21. I live with my mom. They wanted me out in August, in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we came to the deal where they're just going to raise my rent. They've been helping me out so much with rent. And I've been
Yeah.
struggling mentally, financially. I've been in between jobs. And now I'm finally on a roll where, you know, I can handle it. And they're going to increase my rent. And I'm going to stay here and save my money. And,
It's the best move.
you know, until I can get a place for my own. And, you know, that's my step in life. That because for the longest time, it felt like I was expending all my energy on my mental illness. So by the time that I got over that hump, it became time to function as a normal human being,
Mm-hmm.
I was already on an empty tank of gas.
Yeah.
You know, it was like if you have a fucking Ferrari in the middle of the winter and you use all your gas just to warm your car up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go to work and it's like, well, I got like 10 miles left. Let's see if I can fucking squeeze it in there and get to work.
Mm-hmm.
That was me every day. And that leads back to what I said earlier. Like, if I didn't have this to deal with, who the fuck knows where I could be with? And now I'm slowly... Yeah, I wish I didn't have my fucked up head. But that fucked up head gives me some pretty good ideas.
Yeah.
And pretty good perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning to conquest that fucked up part of life. Life can be fucked up.
Yeah, I can,
And
man.
you can look at it like, yeah, this fucking sucks. And, you know, when you're in the middle of doing something that sucks, it fucking sucks. But if you look at it like, you know, this is an opportunity for me to challenge myself and increase my willpower muscle, and learn how to push through that shit. You know, that's why I'm like, hey, the other day I'm like, let's do a mile run. I haven't done a mile run in a couple years. When I used to do it in my peak prime, I could do a 7-minute mile.
Yep.
So I think it was 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm like, hey guys, I'm about to do a mile run when I get home from work. What do you guys think I can get? People, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever. 6 minutes, 50 seconds.
Really?
The fastest mile I've ever run in my life.
Wow.
With no training. Because I'm sitting there running, lightheaded, gasping, my chest hurts, and I'm just like, just a few more steps. You don't need a break yet. You just push yourself a little bit more, you're going to improve. Just push yourself a little bit more. And I walked on the way back. I got to a mile. I got to a half a mile. And I took a second, and I'm like, all right. I took a few deep breaths, and I went. And about a quarter of a mile later, I walked for about 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw some dude looking at me because I had no shirt on. I got bad back acne, and I've always been self-conscious about it. So I'm like, you know, it was freeing because I've never run without a shirt.
Yeah.
Because I was always afraid people would see this back acne and be like, this kid's fucking disgusting. And I was finally I felt freer ever in my life. And I saw this guy look at me, and I'm dying, dripping with sweat. Wheezing. And some guy walked by with his dog, and he looked at me. And then a car was driving by me, and he stopped at a stop sign, and the passenger looked at me. And I saw that look, because it was a hot day. It was like 90 degrees, and they're like, that kid's fucked up. He looks fucked. And I saw that look in their eyes, like, you could see it. They're like, I wouldn't want to be in that position right now. So you know what I did? That car started fucking rolling. Boom! I started sprinting alongside of it.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a fucking car, so they beat me. But they were going 25 miles an hour, and I kept up with it for the first 100, 50, maybe 50, 100 feet. And I saw the look on their face before they passed me, and they're like... They didn't know me, and they had just assumed that I was done with whatever the fuck I was going through. And I'm like, no. No. I got more.
Yeah.
Watch this. You're not out here running in this heat.
Yeah.
You looked at me like I'm fucked up. I'm out here running in this heat. I'm gonna show you what I got.
Mm-hmm.
So there I am running. My fucking neighbors see me running down the street. My car's slowly coming up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And because I parked my car in front of the house, and that's where I'm stopping. And it's like slow motion. And my neighbors are looking at me, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, I left the house, like, literally 6 minutes ago. They saw me leave my house and run by them, and then I'm coming back dying. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And boom. They don't know what I just did.
Nope.
I'm sitting there laying on my lawn, no shirt, covered in the mud, the dirt in the lawn, and I'm just like... I'm dying. But I just did something I've never done before.
Exactly.
I just ran a mile faster than I've ever had. I made those people in the car, and I made that dog, or the guy walking that dog, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that kid's fucked up, but he just started sprinting out of nowhere. And that ties into the mindset that I've learned from David Goggins, that guy I was telling you about. And I didn't finish his story. I highly recommend his book. It's called Don't Hurt Me. He has another book as well. It's called Built Not Born. And he has so many motivational videos on YouTube. But long story short, he has this thing called Taking Souls. And he developed it in BUDS training, which is Navy SEALs training.
Gotcha.
It's one of the toughest trainings in the world. And those instructors' jobs in BUDS training was to make them feel so uncomfortable they gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Push them to their limits. People died in David Goggins' class when he graduated. There was a guy who died.
Yeah.
They had to
That's
end it a
crazy.
day early because someone fucking died. That's how brutal Hell Week is
Mhm.
in Navy SEALs training. And he came up with this personality, Goggins. And he would go deep in his head and think of all the things he's done, the shitty situations he's gotten through.
Mm-hmm.
And he used that, like, damn, I'm functioning, like, for me, the example of, I'm functioning like a normal human. And I got all this fucked up shit in my head. And I'm doing what all these people are doing, but with this.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. When I played basketball in high school, I had more... Some kid took my starting spot. I had more 15-point quarters than he had 15-point games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not... Yeah, it sounds like I'm being cocky, but that's an accomplishment. Yeah, it didn't end the way I wanted to in high school basketball because I was very passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had many 15-point quarters. And I was just some scrub playing off the bench. That's motivation.
Yep.
I've done that. I got Grand Champ in Rocket League. I wanted to do that for over a year.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
So you use that to push through, and when people think you have no more, and this is where it ties to David Goggins and his SEAL training, these instructors, they're sitting in these jackets in freezing weather. They're sitting in jackets with coffee, watching these guys shiver, covered in mud and sand and suffering, and then they go home to a warm bed, sleeping with their wife, while these guys are out there on the beach, freezing to death, shivering. Sand is in their crotch, their mouth, wherever you can imagine sand was,
Mm-hmm.
it's there. And they're doing it on maybe 10, 20 hours of sleep over the course of a week.
Yeah.
Constantly working and pushing themselves. I can't imagine what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
And he got this idea of taking souls, where, okay, these instructors, they're going home to their wives after this. So Boat Crew 2, that's his crew that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be the leader of Boat Crew 2. So they had these big boats, and I think it was 5 or 6 people carry these boats, and they're doing these things where they put them on their shoulder, and then they have to lift it up, or I don't know. Yeah, they have to lift it up and then put it on the other shoulder, and then it's like this fucking heavy ass boat.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, guys, when we do this, we're gonna chant, and we're gonna throw this boat in the air." Like, they threw this. No other group was doing this. They took the boat and they threw it in the air and caught it.
Yeah.
And they were dying. And he's like, "Just trust me. The energy will come.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna suck, but the energy will come."
Mm-hmm.
And they start doing this. Can't beat Boat Crew 2. Can't beat Boat Crew 2. Throwing these boats. And they see these other guys lift their boats, sorry, they had to hold the boats above their head. They weren't lifting it, but they were throwing it up and catching it instead of just holding it. And you do this until they tell you to stop. And can't beat Boat Crew 2. Can't beat. And these guys are seeing this, these other people, and they're dropping out. And meanwhile, his crew standing strong. Not the biggest guys, not the strongest guys, but there they are. Can't beat Boat Crew 2. And then you see the description of these guys' faces. The instructors, the sergeants, the drill sergeants.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell by the look on their face, he took their souls.
Yeah.
Because when they go home to their comfy bed at night, to their wife, they're not going to go home, have sex with their wife. They're going to go home and they're going to think, my job is to make these guys quit. And Boat Crew 2 just showed us up.
Mm-hmm.
That's taking souls.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you see the examples of 2 guys running head to head at the end of the race. And right when they think neither of them has it, someone starts taking that advantage. The guy who starts falling behind, can't beat Boat Crew 2. He fucking hauls ass past this guy, taking souls.
Yep.
Once they think you're done and you keep going, they're done.
Yeah.
You got the momentum.
You pull it out.
And that's the mindset that I've learned from David Goggins that I put to my everyday life. And I'm doing it and I'm growing.
That's a good thing, man.
And, you know, that was like the 4th rant but that I've done so far, but
You're good, dude.
that's my mindset now. And I have my bad days, I have my good days, but I wake up every day. That's my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And your mindset, you change it slowly every day, and that's 75% of the work.
Yep.
People put things off because they don't want to do it, but that's 75% of the work is your mindset. Like,
Mm-hmm.
go into it. It's gonna suck, but you learn things from the suck.
100%.
You need the suck.
Yep. That's the
That's
only
what
way
she said.
success.
But I'm not crying. I do have a runny nose. Like I said, I had a lung infection. Not COVID, but you know, it's yeah, it's just, you know, mindset's been the name of the game for the last month or 2 for me, and it's changed my life, and that's what I want to give to people.
That's a good thing, man.
I've always wanted to teach people things. I don't know what. I know, but by the time I die, I'm gonna be a teacher. I don't want to do it early in life. I want to do it more like maybe in my late 40s, 50s. I want to do it like after I've made my money, doing what I want to do with life, whatever it may be. I don't know entirely what it is yet. I'm gonna be a teacher because I want to mold the young minds and show them this mindset that it's lacking. If I learned this in school, if I learned how to learn and learned how to push myself,
Yeah.
where would I be? Who knows? We could have more Elon Musks, more Jeff Bezoses, more fucking, you know, like,
Yeah. They don't teach people how to use their full all of what they're capable of. You know what I mean, in school, and that's like, that's a main thing in just learning in general. Is like, you have to know what you're capable of and how much you are capable of.
Yeah.
And there, like, I've had teachers that have pushed me before in school, but they don't push you in the right way. They push you for different reasons, not to benefit you. You know what I mean?
They want the grades.
Yeah.
Because that's what their job relies on.
Mm-hmm.
How well could you? Excuse me. How well can you have those standardized scores? How high can you get them? How well can you score on these tests?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're going for. They're not going for, well, how much can you learn based off of what you knew already?
Yep. Exactly.
So, and that's the thing. You improve whatever you want to do, anything and everything. If you improve by 1% every day, this is where I got that. The example I gave with the 200 MMR.
Mm-hmm.
That seems so impossible, but hey, two wins a day is easy. 1% every day. If you improve, 1% seems easy. Easy. You take 100 steps. 1% was just that first step.
Yep.
You improve by 1% every day in a year, 365 days. That's almost a 4,000% increase. If you focus on 1% every day, imagine the person that you become after 1 year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5. 5 years from now, I'm going to have my own house.
Yep.
Because I'm going to keep doing this until I die. I have this mindset. It's never... I might get crushed. I might get my heart broken. I might get fired or not accomplish my goals. Or I might have to give up a dream of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But that mindset?
It's not getting taken away.
No! I'm not giving this up. Because even though I'm pushing myself into shitty situations and uncomfortable situations, I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. Because I'm initiating that discomfort.
Yeah.
You want to suffer by being a lazy fuck that lives with his mom his whole life and doesn't do anything, and you didn't have friends in high school? You want to be that guy all your entire life?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna suffer. Or do you want to choose to suffer and 1% every day? Choose your suffering, because either way you're gonna fucking suffer in life.
Yep.
Choose. It's your choice. And most people choose the first. They want to be that lazy fuck. They don't want to worry about improving.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the drive, the desire, whatever it may be. My job, I gotta awaken that mindset in people. That's how you make humanity better.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What can you let... Not what you... One person can positively impact 1,000 people in a certain span of time. On average, I believe, it was in... the average human... I totally just skewed this, but... one person can positively affect 1,000 people. Right?
Okay.
And if those 1,000 people take that positive influence, and they influence 1,000 people,
Yeah.
one person, in 2 steps of the ladder, can positively influence 1 million people.
Yep.
So yeah, those 3, 4, or 5 messages I get on Snapchat saying, "You're inspiring me to make changes. You're really changing the way I look at life. What you're doing is motivating. Keep it up. I recognize it." Those people, they learn from me. They teach other people.
Yep.
Might not be now, might be a few years down the line. Eventually, that 1%, that one person, turns into millions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. The compound effect. That's a good book. Compound Effect. Look it up on Audible. I got it. I read it. It's a great book. Changed my life. I believe it's like Dave Hardy or something is his name. He wrote that book. But little by little, every day, you know, slow and steady wins the race is just a little kid's tale, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's a shame it took me 21 years of my life to realize that, but I'm here now and I'm living by it.
No, I hear that.
So
It's a good thing to live by too, because nothing comes. I mean, sometimes you get lucky but you can't. It's right under there.
sorry.
You can't rely on being lucky your whole life.
No, you
You
can't.
really gotta put in work and go through that struggle. Everybody does, one
Sorry.
way or another. Whether you accept the struggle or not,
Yep.
you're gonna go through it.
I'm not gonna lie though. Right now, I really have to piss. We can end it now, or we can take a minute and take a break. It's up to you. We're about 2 hours in, so
It's
if you want to go for like a little bit longer, it's up to you. Or if you want to end it here.
I don't mind either way. We're
Look-
having good conversation.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. You guys will see us in a few seconds, but we're gonna take 5 minutes. I gotta piss. I'm about to piss myself right now. Bring me back to the COD days. I'll be right back. But all right.
Cool.
I don't know if I'm paused. What? And we're back, and we have a special guest. As I look at the screen, not the camera, this is my cousin Jason to join me and my brother. He just stopped by to grab a few things, and I figured he could join the last half hour of this podcast. So here we are.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, boys. Good to be here.
I just got off a rant about someone I've learned a lot from reading his book and watching his YouTube videos, David Goggins, and basically his key idea of taking a soul. I guess you're gonna have to watch the whole podcast to
Hear it
hear
out,
what I
yeah.
said. I mean, really.
no. Don't got time to backtrack now.
But no. So we hit a lot of topics over psychedelics, weed, video games, life itself.
Past experiences.
Yep, our family. Yeah, we've touched it all, really. I mean, pretty good podcast. You don't have to watch it. But,
Yeah, I agree.
so, yeah. So the thing with David Goggins, though, is what I was saying. What I'll finish telling his story because I've mentioned him, but I haven't really said what he's actually done. He's the only person to complete Hell Week 3 times.
Oh shit,
And he
That's
did it
crazy.
in 18 months.
that's crazy. He did it all 3 times in 18 months.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, I believe he said 18
I
months.
think I'm a little
That's
lost.
nuts.
Can I ask for what's?
Hell Week is Navy SEAL training.
Okay, so that's what I
It's
thought. We talked
one
about
of
that
the
a little
hard-
bit yesterday.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest military trainings in the world, and he was the. I'm googling.
So Joe Rogan would be like, "Hey, Jamie."
Hey Jamie, I need a Jamie. He was, I think I'm gonna go. I'm not even gonna Google it. He was the 36th African American man to complete Navy SEAL training
Wow,
with sickle cell
Oh wow.
that's
Um,
even crazier.
and on 2 fractured legs
What the
Just
fuck?
keeps getting more nuts.
Yeah.
How did this guy go
and
on?
a hole in his heart.
Oh shit.
And he's negative buoyant, and he taught himself to swim before he went to the training.
That's
So,
crazy.
this dude literally, and he read at a 4th grade reading level in his senior year in high school.
I mean,
Or after, yeah. So, I mean, this dude, he basically was in a very similar position where I was about a year ago. He was an exterminator. He worked at restaurants. I sprayed for mosquitoes and bees and all that, and I wasn't
Mosquito
happy.
Joe's.
Mosquito Joe, shout out to that shithole.
If you're gonna work anywhere, go to Mosquito Mary's.
Yeah.
This is a sponsored ad from
Plug
Mosquito.
to Mary.
This is a sponsored ad for Mosquito Mary's.
But yeah, I was in a very very similar spot where killing bugs. I was unhealthy. I kind of hated where I was at in life. Very self-conscious. He was 300 pounds when he was going through his situation, and he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He saw something on the Discovery Channel, a documentary about it, and he's like, "That's what I want to do." And he had to pass his ASVAB tests 3 times because mechanical comprehension had to get it like a 60 or something, or a 50, and he literally, the last time he passed, like he passed it only the last time, like the
Yeah,
mechanical
you had to take it
comprehension.
3 times.
Well, no, he failed the mechanical comprehension 2 times, and the 3rd time in his last try, that was the last try they were allowing him,
Oh, okay.
he
Gotcha.
passed by 1 point.
Oh.
And
I wonder if the first try just like wasn't even close.
no, he said it. He didn't know anything. He guessed basically, and no, I was telling Kyle, he wrote down word for word every page in his textbook until he knew everything, and he had notebooks filled with that textbook that he wrote, and
Determination right there.
because he was like, I'm a fucking idiot, and he was honest with himself. I'm a fucking idiot, and he worked hard, and he gained knowledge, and he was just determined, and he completed Navy SEAL training, and he became a ranger. He completed ranger training as well.
Oh shit.
And he did motivational talks and recruiting for the Navy. And then eventually he got into long distance running and ultra marathons. He originally started for charity. It's this charity that pays full ride scholarships to kids of veterans that were killed in action. And he was raising money. And he's like, what's the hardest race in the world? And it was this ultra marathon. I think, I don't remember how many miles. It's 100, 200 miles.
Who's just
nonstop.
running?
Yeah, you're running for 48 hours straight. Like, hundreds of miles.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And to qualify, he had to do 2 races. It was called the 24-hour race, and he had to run 100 miles at once. So, 3 days notice, no training.
Jeez.
He goes and does this race, running around the track, 100 miles. He did it in,
On a track too. That's terrible.
I think he said he did it in 17 hours.
That's nuts.
What
I
the
think.
Fuck? What?
And he said at mile
That's
70 he
actually
took
ridiculous.
he took a break at mile 70, and he said worst pain of his life, fractures in his shins.
Yeah.
He taped up his legs. He was shitting himself, pissing blood down his leg because
Oh
he
my
couldn't go to the
God.
porta potty. And he literally ran that whole race on fucking crackers and some like supplement. I don't know what
Like
it was like.
supplement
It
spread
wasn't
for
even
the
like
crack.
water. It was like a gooey I don't know
It's
what
like a gelatin.
yeah,
type.
it's like a gel type thing, and he ran 100 miles in 17 hours. He calls the guy and that he had to he had to qualify for this guy's race and do 100 miles, and he calls him up and the guy goes, the point of a 24-hour race is to run for 24 hours, and because he stopped at 100.
Mm.
It's like, well, now I gotta go do a whole nother race. And he went to Hawaii and did a race there. And I don't remember the details. It's fairly fuzzy because it was later on in the book. But yeah, so he's well known for his ultramarathon. He's a ultra endurance athlete. He broke the world record multiple times for pull-ups and push-ups. I don't know sit-ups, but I think.
How did he transition from like 300 pounds to being this?
That's the
absolute
most important.
beast?
That's the most impressive part of the story, honestly. He 300 pounds, and he had how many months? He did it in like 6 months or something.
What did he lose for weight?
Yeah, what did he drop
Over
down?
100 pounds.
Oh wow.
He lost like, I think 150 pounds.
Oh shit. So he lost half his
No,
weight.
140 pounds. He was
That's-
160.
That's crazy.
How tall is he? Do you know, or is that just like a
Six. I don't know. He's like 6 foot something, but just imagine.
That's nuts. That's a
And,
lot.
You know,
Dude just had like his mindset, and nothing was gonna change his mind.
heavily abused as a kid, terrible childhood. His book opened my eyes. Like, yeah, I got mental illness, and depression, and anxiety, but this guy, his dad, literally fucked him up. Like, he beat the fuck out of him and his mom, and like he witnessed his mom get the shit kicked out of her multiple times in his life, and like for
Back
no
from all
reason,
that.
for no reason, his dad openly cheated on his mom. It was his story really opened my eyes, because yeah, I got some issues, but if someone can come from something that fucked up, I think I'm fucked up now where I'm at.
probably guided as like not motivation, but that probably just raised him as the person he was too. So
Made him
like
mentally strong.
exactly, which it sucks, and that's horrible for
But he had two
anything that
paths he
happened.
was gonna go. He's either gonna let it defeat him, or he was gonna overcome all of it
and
and use it.
yeah, no, it's
overcame it in the best possible way.
I think if the way he describes it, he's like, you think of the worst moment of your life, the worst time of your life, whatever, the shit, the gutter, you're in the gutter. You don't want to go back to that. And you know,
Motivates you to want to be better.
yeah, you climb, if you can accomplish all the things you've accomplished coming from the shit, coming from the gutter, you don't have an excuse. Like, where he came from, you know, he was working he was like getting 4 hours of sleep at night when he was in school, like as a kid, because he was working at his dad's fucking business at night, because his dad had like a club, and his family was forced to work, and like, they weren't paid, and, like, it was fucked. And if he can come from that situation and do all the things he's done, I don't have a fucking excuse. I want to make a podcast? Make a fucking podcast, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a fucking pro Rocket League player. Just fucking, it's a game. Practice. You know?
That's what it takes.
If you really
Like,
want anything, you can practice
It's-
enough at it, or
It's literally, I mean, it's not like it's not saying that as a human you can accomplish anything that you want, but humans can accomplish.
Not everything you want.
Yeah.
they can
but
accomplish most things they put
humans
their
can-
mind to.
Humans can accomplish we're capable of way more than we think we are. Like, you have no idea.
It
You
only
know?
really comes out in certain people, because some people never find it in themselves to.
It's true, and that's been awoken in me. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Awoken?
Yeah.
I think
That feeling has woken up in me, and it's
Been
not burning
awoken.
out ever. Because I was telling Kyle, like, once you know this feeling of, you're constantly just trying to improve and be a better human every single day and every little thing you do, you don't lose that feeling, because like, that's your suffering. Like, I'm choosing to suffer by waking up in the morning so I have time to do the things I need to do and the things I want to do. I'm choosing to suffer and stay up late and get 3 hours or 4 hours. I think I got 4.5 hours of sleep last night, and I'm still up doing this shit, and I'm going to bed tonight at 12, and I'm waking up tomorrow at 4 in the morning. I'm choosing that suffering. I'm choosing the suffering of putting myself on a diet, of working out. I'm choosing the suffering because you're going to suffer in life regardless. You can either suffer being a fat, lazy fuck that lives with his mom his whole life, or you can suffer from grinding and putting your ass to the fucking,
And trying to make something
like,
of it.
yeah, like,
I think if you
Instead of sitting
what
back and
suffering
like,
do you want
fuck
to
it.
do? And I'm done sitting in my fucking own filth and being a shitbag. I want to be a brilliant man.
I think if you look at it, like, there's a lot of cases, or a lot of the cases of people that are put in the spotlight, like famous people. So, like, it's a little different from the guy you were talking about. But, like, you look at the stuff that, like, someone that plays basketball, so we'll say Kobe, for example,
Mhm.
he talked about how, like, there's that famous speech of him saying how, like, if you really want something, you have to sacrifice, like, what you're saying, sleep. Like, where he's saying, like, if you wake up at 3, 4 in the morning,
That time
sucks, but you're getting 3, 4 more workouts in than everyone else. So I just think it's a matter of mindset. Like, certain people have that mindset in life to
Mhm.
where they know that if they work hard enough, they can do it. And there are other people's that I think their mindset is, well, I have to work really hard for that, and maybe it won't work out, and they get turned off by it. And I think there's some people that just don't really work like others. I think some people are made to
Yeah,
do
and
great things in their life. I think everyone is made to, but it's just only awakes in some people or is awoken in some people.
I told Kyle about the compound effect. 1% improvement every day. I told you this yesterday. 1% every day. After a year, if you just improve by 1% every day, that's 4,000% improvement. So, small things every day add up. So those extra hours of waking up early every day, pro Rocket League players, most of them get up at like 10 to noon. I don't know of any off the top of my head that wake up at 4 in the morning to play Rocket League. And, you know, they have all day to work. That's their work.
Yeah,
They-
that's
I
like
have
what-
to do,
yeah.
I have a job, so I have ground to make up as well. So I can't afford to sleep. Because that's what I want, and I'm going for it. If I don't do it, whatever, but I'm pushing myself, because if I didn't try, then would I have ever been able to do it?
It's also a regret you have. Like, not like a regret, but that could be like something you look back on, and I feel like it's better to have as
Yeah.
many opportunities that you try and capitalize on.
Yeah, so it's those hours, those extra hours add up every day. And on top of if you don't even wake up early in the morning and you just keep waking up the way you're doing, but you still focus on improving every single day, you're still going to improve that 1% every day. But then add those extra hours onto it. That's even more, because the average person gets 7 to 10 hours of sleep a night. If you're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night, that's you're getting that much further ahead on that compound effect, and it just builds and builds, and that's where I'm living my life. The idea of the compound effect. I want to do what I do little by little every day to get better. So I mean, that's my goal in life. Really, that's where I'm at right about now, and I just want to inspire the people around me, and people that might decide to watch this. Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, hopefully can teach you a few things.
Definitely.
You
You've taught
already
me
have.
plenty of things already. Sorry, I interrupted you, but
You didn't know. You didn't know me. I was just agreeing with you. You've taught me numerous things. You were like, obviously, I have my brother Kyle as well because he was always a bigger figure to me as well.
not
But you
him.
were-
He has.
Yes, I have my-
That's my brother Kyle. He has a brother Kyle.
Yes, I have my own separate brother Kyle, and I looked up to him, but I also really looked up to you because we were like best friends. But you had that like 4-year difference on me, so like you always knew a little bit more than me. So I always kind of like just hanging around you because you'd always say a lot of stupid shit sometimes.
Of course.
Because that's how you were, but you were very, very knowledgeable.
I try to be. I mean, I say it all the time. I try not to talk about things I don't know about. And if I know that I don't know something, I say it. You know, how many times am I going to say But just in this podcast, I've corrected myself. I don't know if this is sure. But like that's the thing I pride myself on, because when I was a kid, I was a liar. I lied. I stole. I lied. I was a fucking filthy grub. And I lied to myself. I lied to everybody about who I thought I was, who I actually was. I was a lazy, lying, tricky little fuck. And I was so smart, and I used that in the worst way, in the laziest way possible. But if I take that intelligence that I know I have, and that trickiness, and that craftiness, and I use it to my advantage, not stealing out of my sister's change bags that she got from working at Dunkin' when she got tips. Like, what a shit. I did that in middle school to pay for my lunch because I didn't want to fucking make a lunch or in the morning. Like, what a shitty thing to do. Right? And, you know, so now my honesty is my word. One thing I learned from my mother, my word is everything. And I haven't lied. I can't remember the last time I lied. I honestly can't.
If you lied to your mother, because Tracy would beat your ass.
Right?
She
Yeah,
would
my
know
mom would
that's
probably
lied.
beat my ass. She's a prison guard. Sorry, correctional officer. But my word is everything. So when I say I know something, I don't say I know for a fact this is the way it is, unless I know for a fact that's the way it is. Otherwise, I'll be like, I'm pretty sure, I think, you know, maybe, I don't know. I'll use one of those sayings, but if I know something, I say I know. That's my word. So when people say I'm very knowledgeable, it's such a compliment to me because I don't think I'm knowledgeable. I just talk about the things that I do know. You know? You know?
I mean, you've also used a lot of your spare time to look into a lot of, like, topics that make you knowledgeable, so I think that helps a lot as well. You've done your research on a lot of things a lot of people haven't really done their full research on, so it kind of gives you the advantage in, like,
Yeah.
conversations as well. Not that there's supposed to be advantages in conversations, but, like, when you're talking about information.
Well, there is. I mean, knowing how to operate and dominate a conversation is important in getting what you want. I mean, I also struggle to allow other people to speak in conversations. I'm trying to give you guys more of the floor, but I find myself being the dominant talking person, and I don't really.
Sometimes it's just really easy to ramble.
Yeah,
I do it all the time. Like, it happens.
And some people say it's really easy to listen too.
Yeah,
So I mean,
it is.
I always apologize for talking so much, but most of the time people don't mind, or they say that they don't mind. That's where my social anxiety kicks in. It's like they say they don't mind, but what if I'm just an annoying
Trust
fuck
me,
that
nothing
just
will
won't
ever
shut up?
nothing will ever seem like a lot of talking growing up with Poppy. That set the bar so high to the point where everything else is just like
Yep.
minuscule.
That's I don't know if we were talking about it on the show, but
No,
we
we just talked about it out back.
yeah, when we took a break, I was talking about my great uncle, who's his grandfather. He was known for his storytelling, and I'm very much like him. I'm very much like him, where I can speak for long periods of time, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, but you know. So
I think that happens to run in the family.
definitely.
Quite honestly, because my mom's the same way. I think there was so much of it in Poppy that it somehow managed to spread throughout the entire bloodline. I'm
Well,
telling
your grandfather's my grandmother's brother, so it's definitely their bloodline. Someone from one of their parents had that.
Yeah.
The
Well,
gift of gab is what they call it.
So Aunt Trudy's dad, because Aunt Trudy and Jello are siblings, their dad owned, I think it was the
Wendell's.
place before, it was Wendell's, so he was probably a big talkative guy.
Oh well, yeah, he
for
was
sure.
he was from Sicily, and he
Full
There you
Italian.
go.
it was well respected among the Italian mob when he came over. So
My mom always...
that makes a lot of sense.
My mom always tells me that his friends would walk into the bar and they'd be like, can we get a drink? And he'd be like, yeah, you gotta pay full price though. And they'd get mad and he'd be like, just come to my house at like 1 in the morning. And they'd all walk back to his house at like 1 in the morning. He'd start pulling out drinks and they'd drink for like hours. And then
Yeah, I love learning about my family, dude. My dad has a family tree on his side, and you know that's just so important for me because I'm the last person with my family name, so it's kind of like an instinctual thing. I don't know why I'm obsessed with it, but like I want a son,
Well, yeah, obviously you want to carry on the name.
Yeah, and I don't know why. It seems so silly. Like,
It's not though. I mean, if you think about it, that's like breaking like a, however long year chain of.
well, we've got it traced back to the late 1700s.
Yeah.
I think my dad has one guy who he thinks might be related, and he might have come over at the same time the Mayflower. Like, oh no, that's fucking the 1600s. He might have come over in the late 1700s on a boat to Canada, because my dad's side is French Canadian. So yeah, we got it traced back pretty far. So I'd hate to end that. You know.
It's kind of not a battle for me and Kyle. I kind of hope Kyle does it so that I don't have to keep worrying about it. But my brother Kyle. But also like the Rodriguez name, like Grandpa Ray. He came over on a boat when he was like, it was either 8 or 18 years old. I think it was
From
a big
Cuba,
difference there,
right?
but yeah, from Cuba. His family left behind like millions and millions of dollars, and they still buried there somewhere.
A lot of places did that. A lot of people did that from Cuba.
So like, I'd be curious to see how far back that family bloodline goes, because like we can't really get it traced much. We can't get it traced much farther back than.
Yeah, Cuba kind of
man.
fucked things,
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
in the 50s, right?
Yeah, it was just more of like our country not getting along with them, so there's not a lot of records that can be like transferred over
Yeah.
here.
It's true. It's a shame, man. But that's why history fascinates me. You never know. You never fucking know what, like, excuse me. You never know like what could have actually happened in history.
Literally.
Like we didn't they uncover a new page in the book, and the thing is we uncover history by
They're still
we're reading the book backwards, if you think about it, because you start from the closest point in us.
Yeah.
The closest point in history to us is a second ago,
Slowly going far-
yeah.
going
There's still
backwards.
so many
So
things
it's
like
just,
we'll
we're
never
just
know.
fucking, we're rifling through this book backwards, and there's so many pages that are ripped out that we're not gonna find, and
Yep.
that's the mystery of the mystery of history is the beauty of it. But it's a shame. It's a shame that we're never gonna know, like, certain things that actually happened.
It's true.
Just the way culture changes history, because obviously history is written by the winner, right?
Yeah.
So you never know half the story. But it's something. I think
That's the damn truth.
yeah, I mean, I think we were just about exhausted with this conversation, though. I think we've had a good 2 hours 20 minutes. I know I'm out of things to say, honestly. So
Yeah.
I really did enjoy this podcast. I appreciate
I did too.
Kyle for coming.
Appreciate you having me on, brother. Learned
Jason,
some things about you and about myself for sure, just from
just
a couple
of
hour
course.
conversation.
This is
Well,
you can choose. You can have one of those two. I gave Kyle one for being the first one on the podcast. You get one for being the second. I
Do I
one.
get a third one for being one of the next like 2 or 3 to be on the podcast
Nah.
and I join later?
The one that you don't choose, that one's being offered to the
Yeah.
next person.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I figured I wanted a little something. Plus, it's Kyle's birthday. I figured
I'll take
I'd
this
give him a nice little gift. It was his birthday yesterday,
Oh,
rather.
okay, it's not today,
Happy
but
birthday, by the way. I
Yeah,
haven't
happy
told you
late
in
birthday,
person.
Kyle.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
I texted you, but I didn't say anything. But
I'll definitely be back. I'll definitely do either one set, like either one just me and you, or one me and you and one with Danielle as well.
yeah,
Just gotta figure out the schedules on that.
I want to get a podcast going with Jason here and my cousin Danielle. She's a riot. That would be a fun one. Jason just graduated, so he's got a lot to talk about, I'm sure. So
The ultimate,
It'll be a decent one.
the ultimate video might have to be like all the cousins get together and
oh Jesus, I don't know
That'd be
if
a
one
wild
video can handle all that.
oh, I'm
Be at a table with a bottle of liquor
all
and go
the
through
cousins.
some stories.
God.
there need to be a couple of bottles of liquor.
That's for
Go
sure.
through more than one.
Yeah.
But All right. So appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. And to you guys, whoever's watching this, maybe 1 or 2 people, if you're still here, thanks for checking me out, and I appreciate it. Check me back next time. Bye.